Former English teacher going viral after posting a raw and unfiltered farewell video as she leaves the classroom behind after just 3 years. Listen.
A lot of these kids don't know how to read because they have had things read to them, or they can click a button and have something read out loud to them. I just don't think these kids even care. They don't care about making a difference in the world. They don't care about how to have a resume. They don't care how to write a resume. They don't care how to write a cover letter because ChatGPT will just do it for them. And I think that we need to cut off technology from these kids probably until they go to college.
Hannah.
Okay, hold on. So apparently she's a former high school teacher. I know you can't see it because of my huge hat, but former high school teacher, and the kids don't know how to read? Like, I've been away from high school for 15 years, not 20 years, 15 years. And obviously I studied in Czech Republic, not in the US, but like high school for us was about teacher just showing you or trying to teach you how to think, how to find the data, how to use the books, how to write the essay, right? I studied the industrial high school with specialization in engineering. So for me, it was even a little bit different. Like I knew how to make a blueprint and calculations for like transmission and elevator and all of that stuff, right? And it's true that back then, like we used the internet, but it was, we just switched from the dial-up connection to something a little bit faster. And to be honest, thanks to the school, it was even faster to find the equation and whatever you need in the books rather than trying to search it on the internet, right? But yeah, I'm definitely grateful for that. I can't imagine that in high school you don't know how to read. Like the issue definitely comes from elementary school as well. And like, to be fair, I'm not 100% familiar with the US education system, but I know a little bit about Canadian. And comparing it to Czech Republic. So in Czech Republic, you have a class of people or kids, right? And they stay in this one class for pretty much the whole elementary school, or at least 5 years. When they're in a grade 5, they might switch if they want to go to sports class or something like that, depending on the elementary school again, right? But you're staying with the same class for all of your lessons or all of your subjects. So you're staying with one class for math, for literature, for all of that stuff, geography, Czech language, English, all of that. You're staying in one class. And I find it really good because you know who's smart, you know who you can study with. Also, you don't want to look stupid in front of the people you spend so much time with, right? And you have one teacher who's like your main teacher who's responsible for that class. And also, to be fair, from like grade 1 to I think grade 5, this one teacher is teaching you everything. So math, Czech language, whatever subjects are from grade 1 to grade 5. And it's really good because if you suck, it's usually up on this teacher and he knows how to help. He or she should know how to help you, right? So I think it's definitely better to have this kind of system where you stay in one class with, let's say, 20, 25 kids for multiple of years, or at least 1 year, right? Like you can have different class every year, but just I feel like it motivates and drives kids a little bit more when they're in the familiar environment. And with that, it comes the emotions like, I don't want to be embarrassed from the kids that are my friends, right? And at the same time, like, oh yeah, I want to be better than them. Oh damn, I didn't do as good as this person on the test, like, right? Like I feel like it drives the kids much better. Like it gives them some kind of security and at the same time some kind of motivation. So I think it is definitely better. And I can imagine like on the high school that you don't know how to read, but at the same time, I kind of understand it. So for me, obviously, we had English as a subject in elementary school and high school. But what gave me the most was the games. Because back in the day, the games were not dubbed in Czech, or sometimes we didn't even have the Czech subtitles. So I literally had to go to the dictionary and find out what the certain words mean. And I love the RPGs. Like I played Fallout 1 and 2, and it's kind of text heavy, right? So if you want to enjoy the game, you need to understand. So I either used the dictionary or I looked at some guides, which were again in English, and all together somehow it helped me improve the English. And that's how I feel like it's the best way to learn the language, or to learn anything through the game, right? Because you're doing something that's interesting to you, that you enjoy, and you don't even realize that you're actually learning some skill. So I'm grateful for that, but comparing it to my cousin, who's, I think he's 21, 22 right now, so about 15 years younger than me. When he started going to school, everything was dubbed, even freaking NHL, like all the games dubbed. So for him, it was harder to learn English. And now he's in the university and they're using ChatGPT on everything. And they're allowed to use it. They're allowed to use it for essays and all of that. It's to me, it's ridiculous. And they actually even not recommend, sorry, that's the wrong word. They teach them how to use ChatGPT. And I understand that it's future, that you need to know how to work with AI, how to use the AI in your advantage. But at the same time, you need to know how to think for yourself. You need to know how to find the data. Because yes, we have cell phones and we have everything. But how many times your cell phone dies because you forgot to charge it? How many times you're somewhere where you have no connections, like in mountains, skiing or whatever? And you should know some skills. You should know how to read the map. You should know how to read. Like, what the hell? Yeah, let's just continue. But it's just so ridiculous to me.
Is a former teacher, and she joins us now. She posted that video. More than 1 million people have seen it, Hannah, probably more by the time we're on this morning. Why did you post that video?
So I taught for 3 years, as I said in my video. I wasn't always a teacher. I actually started my career in digital marketing. So I've been in the digital world for about 5 years now, or since I've graduated. And throughout the 3 years, I've taught digital arts classes and I've taught an English class. And I would say that in all of my teaching experience, technology has posed quite a challenge. And with AI becoming so accessible to children nowadays, especially teaching in an English or Core 4 classroom, it's been especially challenging kind of to have the kids comprehend and critical think and think for themselves on certain things.
Yeah.
So on my way out, I wanted to kind of raise awareness and just let people know how AI and technology is affecting their children these days.
Right. I know, coming from a mother who taught for 33 years, my sister's a teacher in South Carolina, the challenges that y'all deal with, this is even before AI was a thing. I'm sure it's even more challenging now. And clearly, your opinion is, yes, it is. You're a high school teacher. I'm sure your students loved you. We hate to see someone leave education because of problems within the classroom. Give me some examples of what the students are saying to you.
Okay, before we get that, I have a question, and it's gonna sound like a silly question, but she studied digital marketing. Before she went to teach kids in the high school, did she study for it? Like, I don't know. I understand that she would be able to teach them digital marketing, but what did she say? The English language or literature? How? Like, why? Isn't there some university for that to be a teacher? Or is it really like you can just get a diploma wherever you want and then come teach whoever? And then, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying she was a bad teacher, but to me it's kind of weird that you have a degree from digital marketing and you're going to teach something that's out of that degree. I don't know. I don't think it's very ideal. And I mean, I feel like teachers should help kids, help them understand if they lack somewhere, try to help them. Hopefully the resignation and the viral video will help them somehow. But looking at my experience with education, I can't really imagine that a good teacher would just give up on me. And I don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to attack this lady, but yeah, like if it's the full class that is just addicted to OpenAI, or addicted is probably not a good word. I mean, if you don't know how to read and you're using AI, yeah.
Well, a lot of students, and I do want to be clear, I taught a lot of very motivated and bright children. And so I don't want this to come off as if this is all the kids' fault. But I do know that a lot of times in my English classroom, I would ask them to write down a short response or just 5 sentences to answer a question. And a lot of times it would be about 2.5 sentences. And they would say, well, I can't think of anything else to say. Or, well, why do I have to answer in complete sentences? Like, you get the point from what I'm saying in just this little sentence. And then a lot of times I would assign essays, long form essays. And I know how children write, especially when they handwrite me things in the beginning of the school year. And so when a student, how I know how they write, typically would give me a very eloquently and thorough essay on a topic that I know that normally wouldn't come from them, I would ask them, was this really you? And I'd run it through an AI generator. And of course, it would say 100% ChatGPT or AI. And I would speak to the student and they would more so question of, well, if I have to redo this, how much is it really going to affect my grade? Can I just take the 0?
Oh my gosh, trying to take the easy way out. Yeah.
Right.
Is it promoting just...
Okay, that kind of sounds like... Don't get me wrong, it's bad. It's a big issue for sure, but it doesn't sound much different to what I experienced, like with the internet and everything, right? People are always trying to take the easy way out, and she even admitted that not all of the students were like this. So I don't know. Honestly, I feel the best way would be, yes, make your viral video so it gets out there. Hopefully somehow it gets to President Trump as well, so he's gonna do something about it. But did you resign or were you fired after the video? Because it's I still feel like the teacher should try to help those kids, try to teach them. And even if you're not able to save them all, like, you're gonna be able to help someone. Like, I don't know. Like, not everyone's built to be a teacher. I know I wouldn't be a good teacher. I wouldn't have patience for that. I wouldn't be able to deal with it. And that's why I never even tried or never even thought about it. Like, I used to be a personal trainer. I love to train people. But teaching kids, like, it's a huge responsibility. And it should be about a passion. And I don't know. I'm just kind of confused about this over here in this video.
Laziness among our children?
That was always the story.
I suppose, and a lot of them are just feeling as though they don't really need to do the work anymore because AI will just do it for them.
Right.
And I think that AI can be in a classroom in a very effective way if we teach children in the older grades how to use it properly. But if we're allowing them this unlimited access in the classroom to use AI, they're not going to do the work themselves.
Yeah, I know you're
Hold
a
on.
proponent.
Okay, I have a good example for this. So like I mentioned, I went to the industrial high school specialization in engineering. So in the first year, so it was a 4-year high school, that's how it works in my country. But in the first year, we had to draw the blueprints by hand, which was ridiculous. Like my dad used to do it by hand, right? And when I was in the high school, we had a CAD, we had an Inventor, like all of that, right? All of these things that you don't need to draw by hand. But what we knew is that it's only for 1 year. And once we know how to draw everything by hand, we're going to learn in CAD. We're going to learn in Inventor. So after a year in the grade 2 of the high school, pretty much, you can use all of these new inventions, new software and all of it. So it kind of gives you a reason why you're learning to draw everything by hand, and because it gives you more understanding, right? Like you need to use your brain more than if you just go use the software. But anyway, so we knew that this is going to end after a year. They explained us why we're doing it. Obviously, as a kid, or you don't really understand it as much, but you know that it's the process. Like you're going to draw it by hand, and then next year you're going to use all of that software. So you kind of go with it. And kind of sounds like what she's saying, but I believe there is a solution for it. Just tell them you can't use the Chat GPT, I don't know, for 6 months, because you know how it works nowadays. So just teach them how to write essay, how to use the English properly and all of it. And if they know that there's kind of a deadline, there's kind of a point when they can start using all of the resources they have right now, I feel like some of the kids would respond to it and try to like learn how to think or how to create on their own when they know that they're not going to do it for the rest of the school year.
Of getting technology out of our classrooms, getting the phones out of our classrooms. I still can't believe some schools are allowing that. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry you had to leave the classroom. What are you going to do next?
Yes, well, I actually am working in a nonprofit now. I run donor relations, development, and digital marketing for them. So I'm back in what I was doing before teaching, and I'm loving it so far.
All right. Well, Hannah, thank you for giving up those 3 years. Appreciate it. We love our teachers.
If you're teaching for 3 years and then go back to digital marketing, again, first of all, I don't understand how you have a degree from digital marketing and then you go teach English language to the high school. I don't think that's something that should be allowed, but yeah. And if once you quit, you go back to digital marketing, obviously you weren't passionate about teaching. And like that was the issue in Czech Republic as well. Like we had a high turnaround in teachers, and usually the only good teachers were the old ones who were passionate about it, who knew how to explain everything, who knew how to keep your attention, how to make the subject interesting. Like we had chemistry. We had a great teacher from chemistry, and she taught my mom as well. That was elementary school, it wasn't high school. But yeah, great teacher from chemistry. She knew how to explain it. She knew how to scare the shit out of you. She knew how to make you fail the class. So you had to learn not only chemistry, but also how to work with her, what her expectations are, and all of that, right? We had a great teacher from physics. He used to work in juvie, but he was an amazing guy. He knew how to explain it, and he was giving examples from everyday life. So it didn't sound like, oh, physics is gonna be annoying. No, it was really good. One of my most respected teacher, I would say. And then in the high school, well, we had another teacher she taught my dad, I think. And literally with her, so the grading in Czech Republic is going from 1 to 5. 5 is the worst, right? So 5 is fail. So it would be F in the US, I guess. So she collected your notepads at the end of every week. She went through your notes, through your homeworks, and if she finds something she didn't like, she gave you F. And I think for 5 Fs, you got one big one. That was pretty much like you failed test, right? And that was crazy. She was so crazy, man. One of my friends, I think he ended up the year with like 50 Fs, and then obviously failed the whole year and went somewhere else because yeah. But yeah, like it was crazy. But again, she taught you how to do stuff. We had her for mechanics, and half of our class had her for blueprints, like for drawing the blueprints. And let me tell you, if I was in that half, I would probably fail, because it was literally, you have a smudge on the paper, you have to redo everything, otherwise you're gonna fail. And the teacher I had was much more lenient. She understood that we're just a bunch of guys and we're not gonna be as neat as the girls, right? But yeah. Anyway, that being said, I think it still depends a lot on the teacher. Obviously, it depends on the school as well. But I stand by the opinion that the teacher should do everything he can for the kids to do better. And if you can't tell them not to use ChatGPT, if you can't let them fail for using ChatGPT, there's a big issue. Like, your responsibility as a teacher is to teach the kids how to think, how to use all of the resources they have. And yes, that means ChatGPT, but they should know how to use other resources as well.